So using this time to settle in, to let go of whatever you were doing before and whatever you need to do afterwards. And noticing how your body feels. And thinking about how you want to feel when we're done with our practice today. And then setting your intention however you do that. And then when you're ready, opening up your eyes, and I thought we might start with our hands. And so just interlacing your fingers and pushing away. And if that doesn't work for you, you can stack your hands on one another and just push. And then we're going to inhale up, exhale down, inhale center, exhale reach to one side, inhale center, second side. Just kind of going through that and noticing how it feels. So up, to the side, the other side. Maybe one more time through. And when you finish, coming back to the center and just rolling through your wrists and maybe twinkling your fingers because I don't know how else to say it. All right, and then let's take the right arm out in front and then hold in between your elbow and your shoulder and pull that arm over. Not too hard, but just kind of noticing. Can you feel like your shoulder blade in the back of your body as you do that? And then releasing that arm, second arm. And again, what's happening? We're gonna eventually release this arm and roll through the shoulders. I don't know what's happening with my watch. I have sorts of weird things on my screen. All right. Now, as you settle in, I want you to do one shoulder at a time. So really what we're doing here, we're checking out the neck and the upper back body and just seeing how everything is today. And then when you're done rolling those shoulders, let's stretch out the legs and find your tennis balls. And even though we're working mostly on, here you go, Missy.
Thank you.
You're welcome. I want you to take your tennis balls and place them under the front of your sits bones, so don't sit right on them. And then start to move your pelvis front to back, right? So you can pedal through your feet, your bent knees. And how are those? Oh, because we did mention hamstrings today, didn't we? Yeah. All right, good. I knew this was in my head for some reason. All right, so how are those hamstrings feeling as you do this? Can you feel that? Like I can feel like ropes clicking over the tennis ball. All right, now what I want you to do, and you might have to come forward on your mat, you're gonna take your body back a little, try to let your legs be heavy. So now you've moved away from the pelvis a little bit, and you're just, again, working the tennis ball into the hamstrings. And then we're gonna move whenever you're ready, so stay as long as you want, and then we're gonna move back a little bit more. The one place I don't want you to bring the tennis balls is to the back of your knees, just because those blood vessels are really superficial there. But any part of your hamstrings are game, right? And what I find, the further I get away from my pelvis, the harder it is to press the back of my thighs into those tennis balls. So just kind of exploring and seeing how that works. Now I want you to find a spot, and it could be anywhere from the pelvis to anywhere in your thighs. Now we're going to stretch out the legs and point and flex your feet for just a moment. And then we're going to keep the toes pointing up towards the sky. Take your hands onto your legs. Inhale, body up. Exhale, come forward. And you're just going to keep your hands on your legs as you inhale up and exhale, come forward. And And you're breathing as you move and noticing how it feels. Now the next time you come up, or whenever you're done, we're going to take those tennis balls and then lean your body forward and place the tennis balls to the low back and come into the tennis balls. And some of you might want to come lower than me, like you might come onto your elbows. And we're going to, again, move through the pelvis so you're getting that low back. Some of you might be on that piriformis that goes along the back of your butt. And just kind of noticing how it feels. Feels really warm in here to me. Anybody else? Yeah. Okay. All right. Now, when you feel like you've had enough of that, we're going to take out those tennis balls, and then let's stretch out your right leg, and we're going to flex the left foot and bend that knee, and just move side to side. And again, noticing how it feels in your hip and your lower back. Now we're going to place that foot outside your right leg. If that doesn't feel good, go to the inside. And then bring that left hand down on the ground. So press into the ground, grow your body up long. Inhale up with that right arm, and then you're either going to hold on to the front of the knee or take your elbow to the outside. And again, since we're looking at that upper back body, how does it feel as you're holding on to the knee, or your elbows on the outside of the knee, and you're just twisting, moving your upper body towards the left side of the room. And just take a couple of nice deep breaths here. And some of you may want to start to take your head over that back shoulder. It's where the personality change comes. No kidding. Actually, yoga does change your personality over time, no doubt. And then on an inhale, we're going to lengthen the spine and bring your body around, stretch out that leg. And then let's reach for the right leg again. The foot's flexed, the knee is bent, and just moving side to side. Still breathing. You might notice some differences or similarities in your hips as you're doing this. And again, when you start to feel done, either taking the foot over the leg or to the inside of the leg, pressing down behind you with that right hand, body grows nice and long, inhaling that left arm up, and then reaching for your knee or elbow to the outside, gently twisting to the right, taking a couple of nice deep breaths. And then if it sounds inviting, starting to take your vision over that back shoulder. Long, smooth breaths. And then on one of these inhales, lengthening the spine, exhaling, coming forward. And then let's take our knees and bend them and put our feet wide. And bring your hands in front of your legs. And again, we're going to inhale up, exhale, slide down. And then you might hold on to your big toes or your feet or your ankles somewhere and just reach your forehead and your chest towards the floor. Still breathing. Nice. And then come on up. And then we're going to come onto our knees. If you'd like a blanket under your knees, go ahead and place that there. And you might like to have your blocks in front. And what we're going to do, we're going to start with your right foot forward with the knee over the ankle. And at first, we're just going to focus on the front of your left hip flexor. Just kind of noticing how that feels. And then when you're ready, we're going to straighten that leg, and you're going to bring your hips back, but not sit down on your heel. So now you have your right leg straight, heels pressing into the ground, your toes are coming up. So for many of us, we're going to stretch in the back of the leg here. And then inhaling body up, exhaling, coming towards that leg. And if you are a hyperextender, meaning your knee starts to press towards the ground, put a slight bend in that knee. Now, you have a choice always, right? You can continue to bring your body towards your leg, or you can start to bend and straighten through that right leg. Right, just moving, again, with your breath, noticing how it feels as you're moving here. Now, one of these times, maybe when your knee is bent, we're going to take that right foot and bring it back. Then bring your left foot forward. Again, the knee is over the ankle. Just giving some attention to the front of your hip flexor for a moment, which means your knee needs to be behind that leg a little bit. Just taking a few breaths. And again, whenever you're ready, we're going to straighten that left leg, take your heel into the ground, toes up towards the sky. Again, breathing, and then whenever you want to start moving, inhaling body up, exhaling towards the leg. And again, making all of the things that we do work for you today, whatever that looks like. And again, whenever, if you're ready, starting to bend and straighten that front leg. And one of these times when that knee is bent, we're going to turn the back toes under and bring the knee off the ground, step the feet towards one another. So you're in a forward bend, bringing your hands onto your leg, inhaling halfway up, exhaling a little bit more deeply into your legs. Again, moving with the breath, inhale body halfway up, exhale in towards your legs. And then on one of these inhales, let's come on all the way up. And then just wiggling through your body, let's find a tennis ball. Whenever you're ready, we're going to roll on the feet for just a moment, one at a time. If you don't like or don't have tennis balls, you can just move through your foot and stretch it out. Of course, I'm always all for tennis balls. And you're still breathing, just noticing how that body feels. You're going to set that tennis ball off to the side whenever you're ready, and then come towards the front of your mat, feet about hip width apart. And we're going to start by looking at our right hand, and then as you inhale, you're going to bring up that hand and follow your hand with your eyes. We're going to stay on the same side. So just inhaling up, exhaling back to neutral. Again, noticing how it feels in your shoulder, in your upper back body, in your head and neck. Next time that hand comes down, let's look at the left hand and move into the second side. So as we're doing this, how does it feel in your head, neck, shoulders, upper back body? One more time. And when you come back to the center, I want you to find a block. And we're going to hold that block between our hands, like you're pressing in towards the center. Your feet are comfortable distance apart. And we're going to inhale the block up, and then exhale, bend your knees, but your elbows, but don't let them come out to the sides. Try to keep them near your head. So inhale up and then exhale forward. Now, if you want to, you can add in coming up onto your toes as you inhale up, staying on your toes as you bend the elbows, and then when you exhale, bring the heels down. If it feels better to keep those feet flat, go ahead and do that. And maybe one more once you exhale down, how are those arms a little tired yet? Do we need a break, or are you okay for one more? I'm going with one more. We're gonna hold that block. Now press into the center and see if you can feel your pectoral muscles, you know, your chest. And then, and you might have your knees bent here. We're gonna inhale center, exhale twist, keeping your eyes on the block. One more time to each side. And then when you come in through the middle, you can set that block down for a moment. And I just want you to shake out your arms or roll through the shoulders, whatever feels good, to loosen up that upper body. And then we're gonna make like cacti. And so here, inhale's gonna be here, exhale, you're gonna bring those elbows towards one another. Just moving with your breath. And then the next time the elbows come together, I want you to press up towards the sky. And you're still breathing. And we're gonna relax the arms for a moment, and again, shake them out or roll through your shoulders. Then we're gonna go right into Garudasana, our eagle pose. So you can do elbows, forearms, palms together, or you can take that right elbow to center, left elbow over top, backs of the hands or palms together, and lift the elbows up off your chest. Then you're gonna sit back like you're sitting into a chair. And then let's do that right leg over top today. So you keep your standing leg bent, and then you cross over. The foot can be on the ground, lifted or wrapped around your calf. Long, smooth breaths. Finding some spot in front of you. It might be your hands. And then on an inhale, we're gonna let it go. Come back to the center. And then we're gonna do the second side. Yeah, wiggle it out. That feels good. So again, either elbows, hands together, or left elbow to center, right elbow over top, backs of the hands, and or palms together. Sitting back, making sure your back is supported by your abdominal muscles, and then taking that left leg over on the ground, wrapped around your foot, behind your leg. Words are challenging today. Finding your focus, long, smooth breaths. And then on an inhale, let's let it go. Now from here, let's take those hands onto your thighs, and you're gonna bend a little bit, right? So there's a little crease there, and put the heels of your hands in there like you're trying to press your thighs away from your body. And then I want you to notice what's going on with your rib cage, right? So you can feel your abdominal muscles engaged as you're here, long, smooth breaths. And then from here, I want you to, and you may or may not choose to do this, but I want you to contemplate coming up onto your toes, bringing those heels off the ground. And you're still pressing into your thighs, you're still breathing. On an exhale, we're gonna take the heels down and slide down those legs into our forward bend. And then walk your hands over to the right. You can be on a block or on the floor. Reach your hips over to the left. Coming back through the center, second side. Still breathing. And again, we're gonna make our way through the center, and then from here, you're either gonna hop or step back into a plank. Option here would be to have your knees down. And then from your plank, come on into a down dog or into child's pose if your knees are down. We're gonna pedal through the feet. And then we're gonna inhale, come on forward through plank to up dog and down dog, or tabletop into a cobra in child's pose. So kind of choose what feels good today. Moving with your breath. You probably notice I'm alternating so that people can get a view of either of those things. Now, next time you're in your down dog or your child's pose. Child's pose, you'll come up to tabletop. We're gonna step forward with the right foot into a nice deep lunge. And keeping those hands on the ground for a moment, we're gonna pivot your back heel to the ground. Now I want you to think about this before you do it. We're gonna start to take the right hand off of the ground and open up. Did I say it wrong? Yeah. So you want the same side hand down. So I did say it wrong because I could tell because you're all doing the opposite of what I pictured you doing. Now feel your feet on the ground. We're going to come up into a warrior two. Right? So that means that your top hand is going to come back, your front hand's going to come forward. You're going to keep that bend in your knee. And then let's open the palms up towards the sky. And nice big inhale as you reach back so that your left hand comes gently onto your leg. You're not putting pressure, right hand over your body. Keep breathing. Inhale, let's come up. We're going to come back down to the ground. And now I want you to take your left, is it your left hand?
Yeah.
And reach overhead. Beautiful. Now let's bring both hands down to the ground. Walk your hands inside your foot, come up onto the back toes, and start to bend your elbows like you're going to bring your body to the ground. Keep breathing. Now you're all going to love this one. We're going to come up onto our hands. You're going to walk your hands around so you're in a wide angle. Then come to the other side of your mat. All right, so now you're in a deep lunge with the other foot forward. You're going to pivot that right heel to the ground. Keep your left hand on the ground or on the block. We're going to open that right arm up towards the sky. Long, smooth breaths. On one of those inhales, we're going to come on up into a warrior two. And then turn those palms open towards the sky. Nice big inhale as you start to reach back. Front knee is still bent. Long, smooth breaths. And again, whenever you're ready, inhale on up through warrior two. Hand comes down onto the ground. Then we're going to reach that right arm overhead. Continuing to breathe. Whenever you're ready, we're going to take both hands to the inside of your foot, pivot up onto your back toes, and start to bend your elbows and reach your body towards the ground. Nice. So again, when you're ready, you're going to come up onto your hands. We're going to pivot around so you're in a wide angle with your feet parallel. Hopefully your strap is within reach. We're going to find our strap and take it behind the low back, hold it between your hands. And some of you might prefer to interlace your fingers. And then in our wide-legged forward bend, we're going to extend our arms overhead. And you're holding your hands as close together as it feels comfortable, but you can still move through your shoulders. Keep breathing. Now on one of these exhales, let's take the hands back to the low back, a slight bend in the knees, and inhale, come on up. Make sure you're not too dizzy. Now from here, let's step those feet together and you can turn back towards the front of the room if you want to look this way. And so as we're standing, I just want you to inhale your arms up and exhale them down. Try not to let your body fall forward. Inhale up, exhale back to the low back. Next time the hands are at the low back, let's inhale, body up, exhale into a forward bend. And one more time, reach those hands away from the low back. Still breathing. On an exhale, let's bring the hands back to the low back, press down with your feet. Inhale, come on up. We're gonna let go of that strap. All right, so from here, we're gonna keep the right foot forward and take a step back, maybe like a meter between your legs. And I want you to bend your knee and make sure when you bend that front knee that it's still over your ankle, right? But we're not going for the deep lunge here. And we're gonna take, move away from the bookcase. We're gonna take our elbows out like cacti again. So our inhale is gonna be here. Exhale, you're gonna straighten that front leg and come forward. So inhale, knee bends, arms come out to the side. Exhale, hands and body towards your front leg. And just moving at your own pace, going as deeply as it feels good for you. We're going to do one more time on this side. And when you're in your cacti arm position, let's step the feet together, bring the elbows together. And one more time, press up towards the sky. Relax the arms. We're going to step back with the other foot. And again, bend that front knee and just make sure it comes over your ankle, not way over the foot. Bending the elbows. Inhale here. Exhale, straighten the legs, slide down. Inhale up, knee bends, elbows bend. Exhale forward. Moving at your own pace. Next time you come up, it'll be our last time. And again, whenever you're ready, find your balance, step those feet together, elbows, forearms, palms come towards one another. You're going to reach up and then take those hands. So you're lifting your elbows up, bringing your hands back. And then let's relax those arms, shake them out. And then maybe feet a little bit wider than your hips. Nice little gentle swing. How y'all doing? Now, let's take a wide stance again. And so you might turn sideways on your mat. I'll do my best to describe so you know what I'm talking about. Hands on your hips or your legs. Feet are parallel or your heels slightly out. You're going to inhale, center, exhale, bend your knee over the foot, inhale up, exhale, second side. Just kind of notice how your body responds. Now next time you finish your second side, we're going to bring the arms out to the sides. Inhale, body up, exhale, you're going to take your right hand, slide down your left leg, vision towards the left hand, inhale up, and then second side. So you're sliding down the leg if it feels okay in your neck, you're looking up towards that lifted hand, going as deeply down your leg as it feels comfortable. One more time on each side. And then we're going to pause in the center. And this time, and you'll notice, some of you might need a wider or a narrower stance. We're going to inhale, body up, exhale. Let your left knee bend, slide that forearm down so that your palm is up. And then we're going to take that right hand and sweep in front of the face and then reach up. And here, your goal might be to have your leg, your body, and your arm in a line. Some of you might deepen and take your left hand towards the ground or a block. Keep breathing. Now I want you to press down with that right foot as you reach with your left fingers. On one of these inhales, let's come on up. And then we're going to slide down the right leg. And again, take that left arm, sweep in front of your face, come up in line with your ear, stretch, And again, some of you might want to take that right hand towards the block or the floor. And then press down with that left foot as you reach. No, it's the left foot, yeah. All right. On an inhale, let's come on up and step those feet together. So I have an idea going through my head. You want to try a little something, something? Like maybe. All right, so your feet are a little bit wider than your hips. We're going to inhale up. You're going to slide down your legs and then bend your knees however much you need to. Put your hands on the ground. And then we're going to bend the elbows, and you're going to walk your hamstrings to the back of your upper arms. Okay. Now, some of you might start to walk your feet forward and actually lift them up off of the ground. This one's just for you, Robbie. Now, when you feel done, you're going to undo your hands, stretch out your legs, bring your butt down to the ground. We always have to have something a little bit challenging there, right? And let's take the right arm out in front and just holding on to your hand, pulling those fingers. This is to stretch our wrist in the other way. Is that a little bit fun? Yeah. Not really. And then second hand. All right. And then letting that go. Now from here, I want you to think about, I'm going to show you a couple of things, and you're going to decide what sounds the most inviting to you. So one would be to take one block at a lower level than the other, and then to bring your rib cage, bottom of the rib cage to the block, and then your head onto the other block. Okay, so it's a modified fish pose. Another option would be to have a blanket and put it over the blocks, or to even just have a roll in your blanket and put that under, like your butt on the ground. Okay, and you could also do it with a bolster, right? Now, the thing is, if the blocks are in a good place, it's going to feel pretty comfortable on your back. It's not going to feel pokey. So if it feels pokey, you might need to readjust your block, because you want the bottom of the block at the base of your rib cage. So you need to move your block. Yeah. And then we're going to relax for a moment and see if you can soften your shoulders, inviting the chest to open up. And then some of you, and it doesn't matter if you're on the bolster or blanket or blocks, some of you may want to just rest here. And some of you may want to take your arms and inhale those arms overhead, exhale back down to the floor. Right, so you're going, and you might try it once. If it doesn't feel good, don't do it again. So you're just seeing what feels good in your body. You don't have to touch the floor going up and down. You can just move them a little bit. Now another movement, we've done this movement a couple of times today, would be to take your arms out like cacti. Inhale would be there, exhale, reach your elbows in front of your face. Right? But again, as you try these different things, you're deciding, does this feel really good to me or not, right? And then eventually we're going to come to a place where you relax your arms down the side, and one more time, thinking about softening the heart center, long, smooth breaths. And then within the next couple of breaths, when you're ready, depending on how you're laying down, if you're on the blocks, you're going to press down with your forearms, lift your body straight up. If you're on some the bolster or blanket. You might roll to the side before you come up, but you're gonna lift yourself up. We're gonna move those blocks out from behind us. And then as you come up, some of you might want to do a little forward bend, or you might want to bend your knees and do a little forward bend, just to stretch your back in the opposite direction. And then, very carefully, you're going to get yourself down onto your back body. So you might roll onto your side, or you might roll down towards the ground. We're going to bring the knees into the chest. You can hold on to them. You can move side to side or in a circular motion. And we're going to try something today. I don't know how long it's been since we've done this, but eventually we're going to take those legs so they're pointing up towards the sky, and we're going to take our arms out to the sides, and they're kind of to help us. You can press down into the floor as you're doing this. What you're going to do is you're going to lift up your hips and turn them to the right, lift them up again, come through the center, and then lift up your hips and bring them to the left. Now that we're doing this, I think we did do this recently. So you're just moving side to side, stopping in the middle. So lift and pivot the hips. I know it's a lot of work. And it doesn't matter how far you go. Next time you come through the center, we're going to take our hands onto the legs, and you could have your knees bent depending on how it feels in your body. Inhale, body down on the ground. Exhale, slide up your legs. Inhale, down on the ground. Exhale, slide towards your legs. And again, you could do it with bent knees. Now, next time you inhale down on the ground, let's bend those knees so that your lower legs are parallel with the floor. You can hold on to the front of your thighs or the top of your knees. And this time, we're going to inhale on the ground. Exhale, head and knees towards one another. Inhale on the ground. Exhale in towards the center. And next time you inhale, we're going to stretch out those arms. And you can have your feet on the floor, or you can keep your feet up in the air. We're going to inhale, center, exhale, take your knees to one side, head to the other. Inhale, center, exhale, second side. So again, feet can be on the floor as you do this, or feet can be lifted. Moving the knees in one direction, head in the other direction, if that feels okay. In the head, neck, and shoulders. Now, next time you come back through the center, if your feet are lifted, let's carefully put them onto the floor. And then I'm going to invite you to roll onto your belly and face me so that you can see what we're doing. Wasn't able to do this for a while because of, things happening in my body. All right, so we're going to start with your arms stretched out, and just kind of wiggle your butt for a moment and see if you can relax your pelvis a little bit. Now we're going to take the right arm and reach it out in front of us and come up onto your fingertips so it makes a space under that arm. Then you're going to take that left arm and it's going to walk underneath your right arm. And an option for this would be to be up on your knees in this position if this is uncomfortable, to have your body pressed against the floor. Now, if some of you, this is going to be your pose. Some of you are going to take that right arm and walk it across so that both arms are kind of under your chin. And then some of you might even walk your forehead towards the floor. Yes, it's a Pretzely position. And you're just breathing, and now, like before we were softening the heart, thinking about softening the upper back body, finding a comfortable position, or like finding a place of comfort in this somewhat interesting position. Now when you start to feel like you've had enough, we're gonna walk out your right arm, slide out the left arm, and then let's take the hands in line with the chest for a moment. And just take a breath or two. We're gonna come on to the elbows. Press down with your hands and your forearms, lift up your chest. And then bending your back knees. I don't even know where the words come from sometimes. Now we're gonna move the feet side to side. Now, some of you at this point may want to reach towards your ankles and come into a full bow pose. And some of you might want to keep your elbows on the ground and reach your shoulders towards your feet. So finding that place that feels good. And I want you to notice diaphragm, like the base of your ribs. Notice your pelvis. And then on an exhale, whenever you're ready, we're going to come down to the ground. Relax the legs, stretch your arms out to the side. Bring that left arm to center and come up onto your fingertips. We're going to slide that right arm underneath. And again, you're checking out each position, deciding if you want to go further, and then walking, possibly, that left arm across. And again, some of you may use your feet and start to walk yourself forward, reaching your forehead towards the ground. Long, smooth breaths. And when you start to feel like you're ready to come out, we're gonna walk that left arm out first, slide your right arm out, and this time let's keep both arms overhead, and we're gonna come up onto your fingertips and start to lift your head and walk your fingers towards your body. Now, I want you to explore the possibility of lifting your feet off the ground and then your hands, or keeping the hands on the ground, lifting your feet, one or the other. It's an exploration. Keep breathing. On an exhale, let's come down to the ground and relax. And then we're going to take those hands, bring them behind the back body. Some of you might interlace here. Some of you might use a strap, and some of you might have your hands pressing in towards one another. And again, we're going to lift the upper body up. And again, as we press those hands away, explore the possibility of taking your feet up off of the ground. And again, on an exhale, coming down towards the ground, bringing your hands in line with your chest. And we're going to push back to a child's pose, or you're going to slide around onto your back and bring your knees in towards your chest. So you're either getting yourself into child's pose or coming down onto your back body and bringing those knees in towards your chest. And when you're ready, come on up, and we're going to find your blanket, and I want you to create a bigger roll than usual. So we're going to start in, the Tadasana blanket, and you're going to roll it so that you end up the shorter way, so that you end up with a bigger, so hold it, and then roll it that way, and then, but roll it the shorter way. And then we're gonna take that roll, so it's a little bit bigger roll than we usually have, and And we're going to, so your butt's going to be on the ground, and this is going under our rib cage and our head. So just like we did before with the blocks or the bolster. And what I want you to explore here is as you're resting your head and your rib cage on the blanket, I want you to see, moving side to side, if you can feel the connection with your shoulder blades on the back of your body and start to loosen them up. So you're kind of moving side to side with your body. Because sometimes when we have, tension in our upper back body, our muscles start to get a little glued back there. So see if you can kind of move side to side, loosening it up. Sometimes when you move side to side, you can even feel the edge of your shoulder blade hooking onto the blanket. And some of you might just want to relax here. Now from here, I want you to check in with your body and to think about how you might like to be for Shavasana, right? So first thing, does your body need anything else? So you might come up off of this blanket, do a little forward bend, but checking in, does my body need anything else? How do I want to be for Shavasana? And then as you figure those things out, starting to get yourself set up, so you might put on socks and sweatshirts, you might want to set yourself up in a restorative position with bolsters. So what else does your body need? If it needs anything, you can do that. And also, if you have questions, like you're like, this is still hurting in my body or needing something, what can I do? Please feel free to ask. Moving your body, you're settling in. As you start to get to that comfortable place and settle in, I invite you, and of course you can go off into your own little world or you can listen to me, it's up to you. But if you are listening, I invite you to soften your body, allow yourself to be completely supported by the earth beneath you, and begin to notice your breath. And as you breathe in, you might want to imagine this glowing golden light coming in through your nostrils. And with each breath, it starts to fill up your headspace, little by little, till eventually the inside of your head is completely filled with this golden light. And as you continue to breathe in, the golden light builds. And then as you start to exhale, invite that golden light to travel through your body, moving through your neck, your arms, your torso. So inhaling that golden light, exhaling, inviting it through out the rest of your body, through your torso, the front, the back, the sides, through your hips, your legs. And so eventually it's as if you're this golden orb. And that light can have whatever qualities you invite to it. It can be a warming light, a healing light, soothing light. So if you're working with that golden light, you can invite it to dissipate out into the air, or you can keep it with you, and just know that if it's something that you find soothing, you can invite it back in your own practice at home. Om Shri Maha Ganapataye Namaha. Om Shri Maha Ganapataye Namaha. Om Shri Maha Ganapataye Namaha. So as your attention starts to come back to your body and your breath, before you do a whole lot of moving, I invite you to, you all set an intention at the beginning of our time together. I want you to now think about if there is some sort of barrier, obstacle, for you getting to that place that you are looking for. I'm just picturing what that obstacle may be. In the Yoga Sutra, they talk about very specific obstacles. Fatigue, illness, doubt, lack of confidence, not knowing the next steps to take. And so, or distraction, a big one in our world. So thinking about what might be your obstacle. And then in your own time, I'm going to invite you to come up to a seated position. And of course, you're welcome to stay in Shavasana longer. We're going to do a short contemplative practice, like a meditation. And I'm going to invite you to take your right hand and place it on your thigh with your palm up. And we're going to take that left hand, it's going to cross over your heart and go right on top of your right hand so that your hands are together resting on your leg. And then I want you to think about that obstacle or your intention. We're going to create a sankalpa. So a sankalpa is it's a vow to yourself, and it's set in the present tense like an affirmation, like it's already happening. And so setting your intention, your sankalpa. So let's say, I'm trying to, like right now, mine is healed, so I am healed, and so stating your sankalpa in the present tense to yourself 3 times. But instead of saying like, I want to be relaxed, I would say I am relaxed, or I move through life with ease, or whatever it is. And then once you've stated that, we're going to take our hands and we're going to place them on our feet. And I'm going to give you some words. You can say them aloud, you can listen to me, or you can say them in your head. And what we're going to say is, Namaha. So Namaha is like, it's not me, or I surrender. So we're surrendering so that that sankalpa can come to be. And then bringing your hands onto your lower legs. Namaha. Onto the knees. Namaha. The thighs. Namaha. The hips. Namaha. One hand to the front of the body, lower body, one hand to the back. Namaha. Center of the torso. Namaha. Over the heart. Namaha. Base of the throat and the upper back body. Namaha. Forehead and the back of the head. Namaha. And the top of the head. Namaha. And then relaxing your hands to wherever you'd like them to be. And then to reflect just for a moment, what is the benefit, the payoff for us to not release this obstacle or barrier? What is the payoff to not achieve our sankalpa? Because as humans, we don't do anything without some sort of payoff, even if it's a negative one. And you may or may not get a clear picture of your payoff, or even your obstacle for that matter. But when you feel complete, possibly bringing your hands to your heart center in Anjali Mudra, palms together, thumbs resting on the sternum, repeating your sankalpa or your intention. So sealing it at your heart. Maybe taking a nice deep breath. I thank you all for being here online and in person, and I thank like to join me in making the sound O, Om. O, mouth big, open, wide. M, lips coming together, feeling that vibration. Nice big inhale. Om.